Welcome back to Hedge Apple Acres. I'm Cal, and in today's video we're going to install 2 packages of bees. So I got 2 packages of bees, 3-pound packages from Walter T. Kelly. When you're wanting to get bees, there's a few ways to get bees. One, you can buy a nuke from somewhere local. You can buy a bee package. You can buy a beehive, or you can capture free bees or a swarm of bees. I have a few beehives up, and I hope I get a few calls about catching some. But those are not guaranteed ways to get them. I hope I get some hives that way, some colonies that way. I may not. But by ordering packages or nukes, I can say, oh, I'm gonna need this many. In an ideal world, I would raise my own and I'd have them going. And we talked earlier in the year about why I don't have some. So I ordered a couple packages just to help me out. A lot of people don't like packages. It takes them a little while to build up. The queens are of questionable quality sometimes because they're pushing really hard to get early queens. Reason I go with packages versus purchasing a nuke is time of year. Nukes won't be available in my area till mid or even late May. Right now we're early April. I've got the packages in and I'll feed them and get them started. For a new beekeeper, I recommend packages because if you get a nuke, you're gonna get those bees back, and sometimes that can be intimidating to a new beak. So I suggest you get a package and you can watch those bees build up. So today I have 2 mediums that we're going to put a package in each one. When I'm installing a package of bees, I do not want to use any smoke because I'm wanting them to be able to smell their queen. But what I do have is some sugar water, mix 1 to 1, that I'll spray on. Are shipped connected together for the packages. So first thing I want to do is separate the 2 packages. Okay, I've removed a couple frames from my hive. This top board has underneath it the syrup container, and with the syrup container we have the queen hooked right here. One thing, I believe bees learn how you handle them, so I prefer to be really gentle with them, but sometimes you can do one little hit and then they don't know where it came from. So we're going to do this. Maybe I didn't have very good luck. Come on. You got needle nose pliers? They work for this? Or they can work. I just use my hive tool and work around it. So I want to get the queen out and get her situated before I get a few bees. See, so we got a few. There's a queen in there marked. She's not real big, but so she hasn't started laying very well. There's a cork in this end. I want to remove it, and then there's candy. So the bees will eat through the candy and release her, and by that time they all have to smell. Now they spent since Saturday in this package altogether, but I still prefer to wait and let them dig her out. So I'm using one of those steeples. Okay. So now we've got it out, just got the candy. And I don't like to hang it in here because if bees die and get on here, then they have trouble getting her out. So I prefer it to be up or even to the side. So I'm going to take and push it in this comb. I'm going to push this up against it, and that'll hold her. The bees still have access to her to feed her, and they'll be able to release her right through here. Before, or I will give that a few days, and when I come back I'll make sure, and then I'll get my frames sorted back the way I want. So we get this. Okay, so this is the part, there's a few ways. There's this hole I can get them out of, or what I like to do is put that back in there, put it in there gently, and I'm going to take and remove the side on here. I wish I'd brought my pliers out. Pliers would let me get that out a little bit better, but I didn't. So yeah, I should have brought pliers to get that. Now as I put my hive tool in there, I'm trying to get it below the board but above that wire. Alright, there we go, most of them. So I don't like to be rough with them, so actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these frames back in. A little different than what most people will tell you to do. And then I'm going to open it up and let them work their way to the queen. Now I'm sure there's hundreds of reasons why not to do it that way. I'm going to let them work down, find her, and while they're doing that, I'm going to do the other one. And then hopefully most of them will be going down. Let's move this over just a little bit so they find the queen, because they want to take care of the queen. And this is one of those times I can take that corner and hit it against the super, and it'll cause most of those bees to fall, and that's not too bad. I mean, they're shook up for just a minute, but they usually don't get very angry about that. We're gonna let them work down. I'm gonna leave this open for a little bit so more bees get in there. Yeah, watch that. Okay, so I've got most of the bees in the hives. I went ahead and put the cover on them, and I have the cage setting where the opening is close to the entrance to the hive, so they'll go in there. Now, if you look online, you'll find lots of tutorials. Even the company you order bees from will tell you how to do it. The first hive I showed you, I didn't remove any frames. Still worked pretty good. But on the second hive, I moved a couple of frames, and what that does, that gives room for those bees to go into, and then you just gotta be easy when you put those frames in. This particular hive, I may need to knock that a little bit better. I still got lots of bees there. We'll give them a little bit. One thing I would do different if I was doing more than just a couple hives is I would try and get all the bees in that hive, and then I'd close that entrance up. Because those bees will drift to other hives. They don't have a lot of loyalty to that colony yet because they were all shook into that package and mailed here. They've had a rough few days. If you do a whole bunch of these right next to each other, you run the risk of all the worker bees leaving one queen and going to another queen that's got a stronger pheromone. So I like to close them up with just some grass in the entrance. In fact, I'm going to let these guys get into the hive a little bit more. I'm going to come back out in a little bit, and I may put some grass in their opening at that point. I will leave the syrup out here. That'll give them that they can continue drinking that. I will also, not tonight, but starting tomorrow, I'll bring some sugar water out and start feeding them. The only reason I'm not doing it tonight, I want them to drink all that came in the syrup can. As always, we appreciate you watching, and we encourage you to comment, like, subscribe, and share. We'll be seeing you more.